Welcome to the Banking After Hours series, co-produced with Backbase, where we sit down with banking titans to get their views of the future of the banking and beyond. Today, we're joined by Gautam Anand, the Senior Vice President and Head of Mobile Banking and Net Banking at HDFC. HDFC is, of course, the fifth largest bank in the world by market cap. And we're joined by Abhijit Chavan, the Regional Vice President of Customer Success at Backbase, a banking engagement platform. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. My pleasure to have you go here. Now, I'm particularly excited to talk to you today because I think the rest of the world, when we think about innovation, we think about advancements in digital financial services, they think of Asia. When they think of Asia, India, China, these are two of the front runners when it comes to digital financial services. So, I'm quite interested to hear from you. What is the landscape in India like? What is the landscape in India like? What is it like at the moment?
So you have to understand India first. It's a very, very large economy.
Yes.
We are 140 billion people, so there are a lot of people in India. And also we are the youngest democracy in the world, right? Our age of people, which is less than 30 years, is highest in the world right now. Last month, as a country, we did 11 billion transactions only on one payment mode, which is called UPI, Unified Payment Interface. It's a real-time online app-based payment that we do. 11 billion just in 1 month, right? So it's a different scale altogether. And what is again unique about India is we are a very entrepreneurs country. You see very small-time mom and pop shops. You see a lot of smaller business units which are there. So today in India, any payment can be done via QR code. So no need to have a POS machine or some expensive gadgets to use. You can just simply scan a QR code, make a payment from the device that you have. And it's just changing the way we are doing the entire banking, right? The entire pie of the money which was in the banking sector has tripled post-COVID. So obviously COVID came with its own set of issues, but on the digital side, digital adoption, I think India is in a sweet spot right now. Really exploded well there.
I think a lot of Southeast Asia, where we do a lot of reporting, we observe that whenever we want to take a peer into the future of what might happen in Southeast Asia, we kind of take inspiration of some of the things that's happening in India. So it's certainly very interesting to be hearing from you today. What were you, Abhijit? What are some of the big things that you're seeing happening in the market at the moment?
Yeah, I think the scale, I don't have to underscore that.
Yes.
I think India is synonymous to scale. And when you're providing a service that at scale, then it's not just about providing the service, it's also making sure it is performant across the different layers of front end, your middle layer, your back end. You're providing a service that needs to also perform at the same level of robustness and same level of security, same level of reliability. So it's a different game altogether. So somehow that's a challenge whenever banks in India want to do something. They have to keep all of this in mind. So it becomes a gargantuan task. But once they solve it, the kind of outcomes and the scale of that outcome is also equally fulfilling. But I think few of the things which India in this region, I mean, we have a lot of exciting economies like Vietnam is doing really well when it comes to QR payments. Philippines is rapidly going and making inroads in terms of, let's say, financial inclusion and so on and so forth. But what probably sets India apart, going beyond scale, I think Gautam would also agree with this, is Indian banks or Indian financial services have figured out a way to work very closely with fintechs. Some other regions in this, some other countries.
It's so vibrant, the fintech.
It is. And it has become, and it's no longer a question about whether you want to compete. It's a given that yes, collaboration has to be there, and collaboration becomes so strong that the lines are blurred. That okay, at what point everything starts becoming invisible, and it becomes a very holistic offering for the end customer. So scale, ability to work with fintechs, some very active regulators. I think Gautam would agree there. So be it Reserve Bank of India or be it the authorities like NPCI creating those payment rails. He talked about UPI, the scale of it. Now UPI has gone international.
Okay.
So using Indian cards, you can do a seamless transaction in, let's say, a place like Singapore. And these are massive steps, right? It sort of sets the tone, as you said.
I mean, years ago, you might not even think it'd be possible now, or seeing all these things rolled out, right? So it's quite exciting. And I think that I found quite exciting. I think, it's the hot topic on today is AI, right? And I've come to know that you guys are working on an LLM project. Of course, I think you guys have also done a lot of thinking around AI as well. Talk to us about what you guys are working on in the space at the moment.
Sure. So, as a bank, we feel that artificial intelligence or machine learning or the LLM modules that we talk about, these are very, very important part of the entire customer engagement that we do now. Happy to share with you, we just transformed the entire customer service in the bank in last 18 months, where when a customer calls us on our call center or writes on a social media platform, today we have a way to recognize this customer on a real-time basis, and we ensure around 64-65% of these queries or these interactions are done by bots on a real-time basis. So there is absolutely no human intervention at all, right? We have got some fantastic voice IVRs. We have got voice bots that are being working, and the good part is India being a very diverse country, we have got various languages. So we do customer service digitally in 13 plus regional languages now. So that just really transformed the way this works.
I can't even imagine what a large undertaking it would be to be able to enable in 13 different languages.
So it's actually very easy now. Again, like what Abhijit was talking about, there is a lot of national infrastructure created now, right? We have got something called Bashini. Bashini is a bot which has been made in India, and it has 300 plus dialects in India, right? So now we have to just plug and play there. We just connect with Bashini, and you can just train the bot in a jiffy, right? So what was looking impossible today, you can train a bot in like 2 weeks, and the third week it comes up with a new language. That's there, right? So we believe that that one part is automation, bots and stuff. Second is we have to be with the customer at the journey that he's in. Instead of intruding and asking questions, we have to now understand what the customer is wanting to say, right? Simple things like if a customer scans a QR code in a POS location, and there's a transaction that he has to dispute or he has a query, right? There is no need to ask 100 more questions, right? The QR is self-sufficient to tell you which machine this is from, which time of the day it has been done. It's just that you have to get that context into the conversation and then make customer's conversation very, very simple. So we have done that successfully in last 18 months in our bank, and today it's beautiful. We have got 15,000 plus agents, both for inbound and outbound call center on a single platform, which is AI driven. It just works like magic.
Sure. Amazing stuff. Is Backbase doing any thinking around AI, rolling out any AI enabled services?
So I think one of our strategic partner, and I think there was an announcement last year.
Right.
That Microsoft is our strategic partner. What we are trying to do, we realize what we are good at, and making sure that having your AI and ML related capabilities, creating that from scratch doesn't make sense, right? So because it takes a huge amount of manpower, huge amount of experience. They're never going to get things right the first time. So just like the banks like HDFC are collaborating with Fintech, the Fintechs like us are also collaborating with each other, along with the big giants like Microsoft. Right. So what we have is, as part of something that we call as an engine room, we have a layer which only deals with data, and that basically provides certain capabilities which are available for our customers right on day one. And then on top of that, they can build the necessary level of differentiation there. But I think the key part here is, AI is such a massive umbrella term, and to each AI means something really different.
Of course.
But the example that Gautam talked about, it's so very real. Right? When you have 87 million customers at last count, then you need to take care of, that inbound and outbound calling. How do you bring in scale? How do you bring in a kind of prescriptive analytics as part of it? And going beyond that, finding that right use case is probably the half of the battle won. I think technologically speaking, in order to make AI a lot more powerful in business sense, I think HDFC is also doing the same thing right now, is moving away from, let's say, a monolithic data warehouse to something which is, there are a lot of technologies. Hadoop was the first one, but now it is usually with Spark, and they have those data lakes, cloud-based data lakes, and which are coupled with those data APIs. that essentially gives you that ability to mine that data at such a large scale and then make an impact in the lives of the customer. And when you have 86 million customers looked after, that help is really needed.
Really scalability.
I just add to what just spoken about. So it's very important to understand that the entire AI strategy has to be on top of huge amount of data which is there, right? And the key thing is that instead of a few handful of people who understand tech having all the control of that, we need to give control to the front end product guys, front end sales guys. So the whole idea of creating this lake and use LLM platform on top of it is to ensure that we empower the front end guy. So if there is a person who is sitting across the customer, he should, in a very simple term, get the detail that he wants on a real-time basis. That's where you will see the change happening, right? If you really keep it in a complex algorithm, backed with some analytic teams in the bank, it will give its own benefit. You will do some good marketing around it, but that real problem solving that happens on the ground will not happen. So the real challenge right now, and the work that we are doing right now, is to just enable the entire of this data, the entire AI platform available for each and every employee of the bank, so that they can in turn service the customers in a much easier way. That's where LLM is very important for us. We strongly believe that gone are the times when you have to know a Python or a C++ language to write a query and do that, right? You have to simple write English and it should get the answers for you, right? So that's what we are currently working on, and I think that will again help us to take one big leap into our customer service and transactions.
I think it's certainly exciting what AI is enabling the frontliners, the sales folks to be able to do, and I think we're just beginning to scratch the surface. I'm sure you guys will be working on a lot more exciting projects. We'll be sure to keep an eye on that as well. Now, I also wanted to talk about how you guys create a competitive edge, right? Because as we know, the Indian market is very competitive. A lot of banks are out there just trying to improve, trying to iterate, trying to be better. So how do you set yourself apart in that very highly competitive environment? How do you design your mobile services to be superior to your competitors?
So obviously, Backbase is an important part of that full journey for us. We have kind of gone into this full transformation from 3 different platforms, came to an omni-channel platform. We have upgraded to the latest and the greatest versions that they have. So what is important is we have to start looking at what the customer behavior is, right? And then we have to probably preempt the customer behavior and not be trying to study it as a past activity, right? So what we are doing now is we are looking at a lot of transactions that are happening not only in India but across the globe. We are looking at not only banking but looking at all the main used platforms. Like for example, Netflix is a very highly used platform in India. Now there is something that you pick from Netflix in terms of journeys, how it should be, how does customer really navigate between these platforms, right? So Netflix is a competition because you want to learn from Netflix how they are doing it, right? Similarly on payment side, right, there are a lot of challenger banks across the globe, right, who are doing some fantastic work on AI, right? The whole onboarding of a customer journey, people have really taken it to a very different level, right? So we are trying to learn from them. So it's no longer that we are competing against the Indian banks, we are competing against, I think, global banks, right? And not only banks, we're looking at all global giants. Where if Google is the most used platform, there's something that they're doing right. Why can we not work with them and try and collaborate along with them and create it, right? So that's the way we are thinking right now. We don't think as a bank, we think as an IT company. We think more a customer experience company, and our idea is to just ensure that whatever we are doing is the best in class, and it is what the customer wants, right? So we are really, while designing screens, designing journeys, we are doing a lot of research now. We do a lot of customer interactions on each of these journeys. So what you see as an end product is actually made in collaboration with a few customers, and they test it, they tell us that this is what they want and move that. We take a lot of feedback. So it's an ongoing process. No, it is no longer a bunch of people sitting in a room and doing it. It's actually, we have to be out with the customers and kind of validate every step that we take. So it's working fine for us as we speak. But AI laced with a lot of customer centricity and benchmarking us across the globe. I think these are the few things that comes to my mind.
I think it's so fascinating how the conversation has shifted. Because back in the days, it's just like, how do I compare to my next biggest bank, right? And then now it's like, Netflix have this experience, like you said. How do I keep up with this? And that's just the way the customer frame things, right? Because they also don't compare you to the next bank; they compare you to the next digital service that they do enjoy. Now, maybe to direct the next question to Abhijit, in all these things that Gautam has done for the bank, what is the role of Backbase? How has your partnership helped the bank to achieve some of its goals?
So Backbase, as you know, is a Dutch company, right? It's headquartered in Amsterdam, and HDFC Bank has been one of our marquee customers for close to 7-8 years now. So our team here in Asia has been in Asia for last 4 to 5 years, right? So when our relationship with HDFC Bank started, it was before any one of us here were there on the ground locally, right? What we have been able to do in the last 3 odd years is, first of all, stop that intermediation. If it is our product, if we are the product principal, then it is our fiduciary, if I can use that word from the banking side, fiduciary duty that we make our customers successful. So now we work with them directly. So few of the things that I'm extremely proud of in the last 3 years is actually putting together a team at a particular scale to work with HDFC shoulder to shoulder in order to get our latest and greatest utilized across their digital channels. It is still work in progress. There are still few key milestones that we're eagerly waiting to reach.
Fingers crossed.
But I think the overarching thing is going beyond what the platform has to offer. At the end of the day, it is the very good top-down alignment in terms of how the bank senior management is thinking, how they are aligned on their to-be state. And then we, Backbase, as the product principal, are we fully aligned on those things. And I'm very happy that there is an absolute ironclad alignment in terms of that to-be state, and we'll do whatever it takes to get them from one successful milestone to the next one.
Wonderful stuff. We'll be sure to keep an eye on it. So looking forward, what's next for you guys? What are some of the exciting things that you're seeing come out of the region?
So at least on the banking side, I'm seeing a huge shift in trends. Chat banking is becoming big in India.
For sure.
Right? WhatsApp, we are the largest user of WhatsApp globally, right? And we have seen banking moving there. Right? So we introduced our WhatsApp chat banking maybe 8-9 months ago, and it's already growing. Now we have got 10 million plus active users there, and they are doing everything possible on WhatsApp, right? So what we have realized is, unlike what we were doing till now, we were trying to get customers onto bank platform. So the mobile banking or the net banking or any product that we build, right? The whole thought is that the customer has to come to the bank's platform. Now we are going the other way around. We are saying wherever the customer is, we will enable banking there. WhatsApp is one of the things that we have done. We are working with Meta in a big way. We are getting banking on Instagram. We are getting banking on Facebook. I personally feel wearables and voice is going to change the way banking is done, and specifically in India, where the unbanked population is still large, and this unbanked population is largely in smaller towns, villages, where people are not really educated and they are not very well versed in typing out stuff, right? So the moment we enable voice on our mobile app, it'll just transform the whole thing, right? Then for you to make a electricity bill payment or a mobile recharge, you just have to speak to your phone, right? It is safe because it's your phone. You will still be enabled with a PIN or authentication, additional authentication. But I think that will give us the next 100 million kind of users coming onto platform, and that's what we are co-creating right now. That how can we enable voice on mobile in a very secure manner? But that will help me. I think that is what is going to take this to a very, very different level.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how even the conversation of wearable banking has gone full circle, because there was a time where it was all the hype and they're like, oh, we have the smart rings you can pay with, and then it kind of died down, and then it's coming back to conversation now how we're looking at wearables. So certainly a lot of exciting stuff. What about you, Abhijit? What are you seeing that you think is exciting coming out from the region?
I think Gautam talked about a very important part, right? They're not trying to bring customers onto the platform. They are going to where customer is. What are we trying to do here, right? So you look at in context of India, if there is an age dividend or a population dividend, there's a huge amount of population which is 30 or around 30 or less than 30, right? They are digitally native. They are quite well versed in this. Gautam also alluded to things like financial inclusion, someone far from underserved, unserved, not part of the mainstream financial services. And there is a mobile, there is data connectivity. They can be brought into mainstream. So I think everyone, be it back, be it the product providers or platform providers like ourselves, everyone is thinking in terms of what does the customer want and re-architect around it. So usage of AI, it's an enabler. But what is the use case here? 84, 87 million customers of mine, they have a way to securely reach me in the same omni-channel context. They don't have to repeat themselves. More often than not, they can self-serve themselves. It is nothing but hyper-personalization. Now, I think Gautam can perhaps confirm on this is because of the power of this hyper-personalization and the power usage of AI, I think the bank like HDFC with their massive scale, they are able to cast even a wider net, right? So it's the size and the scale of the bank is not coming in the way of moving faster. Once they cast the net, it is a lot wider, right? And how is that being done is like due to hyper-personalization, due to AI layer, you have those pre-approved offers. It's already done. It's just a click away. If the bank wants, a bank like HDFC wants, they can create another HDFC bank kind of a base in a year's time. Probably faster.
I don't know. I would have said probably every 3 years you want to recreate a bank, right? Which is pretty more pressure. But just
it's
to
good to have ambition.
yeah. But just to add on to that, the way things are going to change is this entire AI and the platform that co-creating with them. There again, what will happen is we have to get context into every transaction now. And which transaction can convert into a credit, which transaction convert into a delayed payment. So we have to just get that entire thing done now. So gone are the times when you do a campaign once in a while and send to customers and hope that they'll come back. Right? So I think those days have gone.
I'm glad it is,
now you're right. And now it is important that every transaction that the customer is doing, you try to get the context in that transaction and see how we can make this life better. How we can push a credit to a small guy who doesn't have a credit history. Right? How do you help him build that credit history for him to tomorrow take a bigger loan, grow his business and perform better, right? So he's right. We are looking at every 2 to 3 years creating one more bank of the same size that we are, and with AI, that dream looks easier. It looks that you will be able to deliver that at the point of where the customer needs it. I think that's going to help us grow now.
I guess the mantra of the day is context is king, and the other mantra is to be where your customers are, right? And on that note, gentlemen, it's been a real enlightening conversation, and I'm so glad to be able to share this session with all the audience today. Thank you for joining us, and
That is completely house.
likewise. Pleasure. Thank you.